This week in the Restroom, we get our pulp novel on to flesh a Disney Martian turd from 2012. We've got confusing mythologies, lame superhero powers, alien subtitles, kid-friendly CGI creatures, and actress Lynn Collins caked out in enough bronze tanner like she was appearing in a new season of Jersey Shore. It's John Carter, and before we flush it, we're going to take it out and play with it a little. Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone. I am Honor Knight, your head cinematic flusher right here in the Restroom. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin.
Hey, hey, hey.
And sassy cinephile Sarah Polton.
Hi, biatch.
Our special guest this time out is the creator and founder of the novel comics, Alternate History with Superheroes. The first volume, Outbreak Mutiny, was released back in April, and you can get your very own copy over on Amazon, link in the show notes. Please welcome back author and historian Jay Sandlin.
What's up, guys?
Hey, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that SRC is one of the nominees in the comedy category for this year's Podcast Awards. And we encourage you to head over to podcastawards.com, sign up, and nominate us for Best Comedy Podcast. Nominations are only open until July 31st, so shit or get off the cinematic bowl. There's a link right in the show notes. It's super easy, and it's free. Go nominate us in all your favorite shows right now. Let's kick off this flush with a round of Thunder Dump. Blow some ass. I'll put 60 seconds on the Restroom clock, and we're going to go around the cinematic bowl to see who has the worst alternate title for this week's cinematic turd. The loser will then get to read the RSS, that's Restroom Stall Stats, in a funny voice of my choosing. Here we go. Griff!
Can't end Barsoom enough.
Oh, hey-oh! Polton!
Mars Attacks.
Sandlin!
White man can jump.
Oh! I had John Carter's Tanning Salon and more. Griffin!
Men are from Mars, but this movie's from Uranus.
Oh, but I'm hail! 2 hails in a row, Polton!
Orange is the New Black.
Sandlin!
100-year-old Virginia.
Oh, okay, not too bad. I had John Carter Sunk My Battleship. Think about that one. Griffin!
So dang, they spent way too much money on it.
Polton!
Star Horse.
Oh, boy. What's his name? Sandlin!
Gambit and the Green Men.
Whoa, now we're sliding. I had my not-so-favorite Martian. Griffin!
Stop trying to make Taylor Kitsch happen.
Oh, and that is time. And I agree with that last one. There you go. All right, excellent round of Thunderdump. Way to go, kids. However, we got to have one loser in this bird. And the loser is, of course, Sarah Polton with her last one. She tanked it on the last one. You didn't finish strong, and you're the big loser.
Losing never felt so good.
Ba-dum-bump, ayo. All right, so Miss Sarah Polton is the big loser this week. She's going to read the RSS Restroom Stall Stats in the voice of a Martian accent. Have at it.
What the actual fuck does a Martian sound like?
Yeah. You could do that for the entire time, but we prefer you to actually read these stats.
All right, I'll do like a robot Martian.
Thank you. Have at it.
John Carter is a 2012 American science fiction action film directed by Andrew Stanton from a screenplay written by Stanton, Mark Andrews, and Michael Chabon. What the fuck? Why is Michael Chabon doing this to himself? The film is based on a princess on Mars. The first book in the Barsoom series, novels written by Edgar Rice Burroughs. John Carter stars Taylor Kitsch in the title role, Lynn Collins, I can't read, Samantha Morton, Mark Strong, oh my god, like a lot of people. Willem Dafoe. Who the fuck is Willem Dafoe in this movie?
We'll get to that.
The film chronicles the first interplanetary adventure of John Carter and his attempts to mediate civil unrest amongst the warring kingdoms of Barsoom. 1 week before the film's release, Disney removed the embargo on reviews of the film. I can see why. It holds a 51% rating boom on the aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes based on 219 reviews. Its consensus reads, while John Carter looks terrific and delivers a share of pulpy thrills, it also suffers from uneven pacing and occasionally constantly incomprehensible plotting and characterization. Thank you.
There you go, folks. That is your rest of Saul's stats. Okay, not quite a Martian, but it's close enough.
Sober.
Thank you for that. Great job. This film is what happens when you let a narcissistic Pixar employee write and direct a live-action film. What could possibly go wrong, folks? If you look up the words control freak in the dictionary, you're going to see the IMDb pick for Andrew Stanton. This whole thing falls on him, guys. He wrote and directed this film. He comes from Pixar, and he had enormous creative control over this film, right down to the trailers. We'll talk about that. He had control over the music in the trailers, and he still fucked it up.
I think he described himself as drunk with power, probably as drunk as we would like to be watching.
Yeah. But I'm bump. Hey, this whole film is like a bad cinematic blowjob. You're just not that into it. It's starting to hurt, and you desperately want to ask them to stop, despite the fact you paid money for it.
Honor, do you pay money?
Yeah, Jay actually paid money for this, film, not the blowjob.
I read the books by the brilliant Edgar Rice
Right.
Burroughs.
They're fine.
They were written almost 100 years ago now. This movie took almost 100 years to make, and this is what they came up with.
Wow, yeah.
That was why I came up with the Thunderdump title, 100-Year-Old Virginia.
Okay, all right, now that makes more sense. Okay. If this film was called Nell Carter, it might have been more interesting. Give me a break. But I'm pumped. I'm working it. Hey, was Hawaiian Tropic Dark Tanning Oil a sponsor? I haven't seen this many white people bronzed up in one place since the Jersey Shore. Jesus fuck, we're going to talk about that. It is insane. People are fucking orange.
We'll talk about the princess's color.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about specifically about poor Lynn Collins.
Hey, she rocked it.
I know, but those color contacts were like the cheapest things I've ever seen.
She rocks something.
I feel bad.
I know, I feel bad. We're
a beautiful woman.
I know.
Made her look like Donald Trump.
Wait. You know you're in trouble when even the Disney logo is covered in the same shitty red tint Instagram filter as the rest of the film.
That was like my first thing. I was like, okay, what?
Yeah, the whole thing's in red is what's going on. It's Mars, Griffin. You get it? It's all red. The whole film.
I know, but I'm like, wow, are they really like swung for the fences?
It's a big, angry cinematic hemorrhoid, and it just gets worse and worse as it goes. But you do not know Mars. Really, Willem Dafoe? After watching A Trip to Mars, Escape from Mars, Ghosts of Mars, Marcy's Mom, Mission to Mars, Red Planet, Rocket Man, Total Recall, The Space Between Us, and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, I think we fucking do. And then everything changed. Not really, Willem, since the filmmakers needed to front-load this turd with so much backstory that it makes Dune look like an issue of People magazine. This opening, man, again, this requires a massive amount of front-loading for an audience who's completely illiterate and never read John Carter from Mars. In fact, the original name, folks, is John Carter from Mars. Am I correct on that, Jay? That's the original? Yeah, and
there was John Carter of Mars. There was a Princess of Mars.
The problem, and then Disney bulked, and so they took it away. Well, you just call film John Carter. We don't know what the fuck you're talking. We don't even know what kind of film it was.
There's no context. You might as well call it John Doe.
Being a fool is a great luxury. Well, I guess so, since veteran actor Mark Strong is decked out like one of Marvel's Watchers. Damn it, I knew I fucking read that wrong. Around the 3-minute mark. Yeah, there's some weird shit going on here.
No, he's like a Watcher.
He's a Watcher. Yeah, you're right. He's got that Watcher Vulcan vibe there. Anyway, the opening, there's this big battle scene. We have no idea what's going on Mars, folks. The film it tips its hat earlier, and I have a real problem with that, by showing this big CGI battle, and then these 3 wise men who are bald and dressed like Marvel's Watchers, if you're familiar with those. Mark Strong is the leader. They kind of float down onto the ship and give one of the Barsoom residents a weapon of mass destruction that he can use to wipe out an army.
Dominic West's character.
Oh, that's right. That's Dominic West. Yeah, Dominic West with that terrible haircut. And he, which will be explained later on. But unfortunately, like I said, we have very little context on this opening between Willem Dafoe's lame narration and then all these visuals that are literally just thrown at us. We have no idea what's going on. New York City, 1881, where every shot seems to be ripped directly from Scorsese's Gangs of New York.
But don't you think it looked like London? It didn't look like New York.
Hey, Honor Knight called. He'd like his cool 80s hair back, please, Taylor Kitsch.
Honor, it was the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. But I'm pumped. Hey, Jay Sandlin with the win on that one. Name of sender, Carter, John Carter. Was anyone else expecting to see him flirt with Moneypenny at some point during this turd?
Why? But the thing is, like, during that scene where he was just like walking down the street and saw somebody and trying to get away, they were trying to do like a playful James Bond thing with him.
I think nobody wanted him to be like Han Solo. but he has no
now, that's what he
charm,
should have been,
right?
and that's what they were trying to go for. Andrew Stanton, the director and writer, and we'll talk about this guy as we go, wants to describe this film as being like a Raiders of the Lost Ark type film. Please do not compare your shitty big budget film to an actual good film. And I hate when they make that comparison, because then you go into the movie thinking it's going to be like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Guess what? This is nothing like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's not even close, not even tonally close. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. This guy was literally drunk
they
on...
both had sand.
Yeah.
Well, all right, yes, all right, let's check that box. And there were some red filters, maybe. Okay, yeah, all right. So maybe we're not...
Sand. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
There you go. This guy is really a Hollywood big budget non-starter. He's appeared in a bunch of big budget films. He's never been interesting or has zero charisma.
When he does like smaller, like independent stuff, he's actually interesting when he's more of a character actor, but he's not interesting as a leading man. There have been think pieces written about Taylor Kitsch and like why Hollywood's trying to make him happen, why he's not happening. Like, people are devoting so much energy into trying to figure out why he's a thing.
I wonder if there are any low-income children actually playing with the John Carter action figure from this turd, or just using them on feral cats as a butt plug.
What? No. What they do with them, like what they do with the
Burn 'em.
t-shirts of like the NBA championships of like the team that doesn't win. They just send them off to third world countries.
That's where it is. Yeah, somewhere there's a Taylor Kitsch action figure from this film. Folks, this was a big budget film by Disney. It was backed by Disney. There was a ton of merchandise. There was a ton of merch that just all disappeared out of your local Target immediately when this film was released. Okay, so somewhere there's a cat walking around with Taylor Kitsch in his ass, and he's not fucking happy about him.
Those E.T.
Yeah. Mr. Burroughs, not to be confused with Edgar Rice Burroughs, who wrote the original Pulp Fiction novel this turd is based on. Oh, wait, it actually is the same person. Never mind. So they actually worked Edgar Rice Burroughs, some punk kid. I didn't know who that actor was. I didn't even bother to look him up.
Kid from Spy Kids.
Is it really?
His name is Daryl Sabara.
Oh, you're right. That is the kid from Spy. I didn't even know that. Okay. So, to explain to the audience, after that Mars opening, we see Mr. Carter alive, and then it turns out we flash forward. Now we have to deal with this back and forth thing. John Carter is now dead, and his lawyers have called Edgar Rice Burroughs, who's a friend of John Carter, to his estate to deed out the deed of his estate and his wishes after his death.
Yeah, he gets there and he's like, "Oh, I have some bad news for you. He's dead." Also, like, they go into like a weird amount of detail about like the circumstances around his death and his burial.
It was his private journal, which will hopefully explain this plot better than the director can. And it doesn't really, because he starts reading this journal. Of course, it's a journal now he has to read that it's going to do. Again, it's kind of like the whole film's kind of a flashback, basically. And I hate films like that. And Polton, we've talked about this before, about front-loading your movie with unnecessary exposition and doing a flashback. But the whole movie really is essentially a flashback. This wild tale begins 13 years ago, which is where the film should have begun, as I just said to Miss Sarah Polton, instead of tipping its hat with all that Mars nonsense that opened the film. If your audience is confused only 10 minutes into the running time, you know your film is in trouble. Even I was confused, and I can kind of follow this garbage scene for scene, but man, that by tipping your hat, by showing the Mars stuff way too early, and then backtracking to this Taylor Kitsch, James Bond shit, and then having him dead, and then now, and then going back to the Civil War, which we're going to do right now, your audience is immediately lost.
There are elements of the movie that explain other parts, but they're spaced so far apart that you don't even remember it.
Yeah, that's the other problem.
You don't even remember like details that would oh yeah, I remember that. No, I don't, because the pacing is horrible and I don't care.
Fort Grant Outpost, 1868. Not to be confused with Foster Grant Outpost, where everyone looked cool in their sunglasses. Come on. Oh, ew. Is there a problem with you sporting a fake beard that looks like the hair and makeup department plastered a dead squirrel on your face around the 11-minute mark? Yeah, I think there's a problem, guys. Could they not have him just not grow his beard out for these scenes? I know it's a schedule thing. I know they have to do scenes out of order, but Jesus, you could have done a better job at least lighting that pubic hair on his face.
I think they borrowed Will Forte's beard from when he did the Falconer sketch on SNL.
It's stuff like that is distracting from the narrative. That's a problem. Somebody should have noticed that.
It wasn't quite the samurai cop wig, but it was in the ballpark.
Wow, Jay's pulling out that reference there. All right, we'll give him the win. Beans. The first item is beans. Wait for it. Why does Taylor Kitsch sound like he's Clint Eastwood? pitching a Bush's baked beans ad. Like he goes in.
Why are you going to pay the guy after you put the gun in his face?
I don't understand what that was. So he walks into some store. He's a guy who abandoned the Calvary during the Civil War because he didn't want to fight for the Civil War. And because his wife and daughter got killed. I know we're tipping our hat a little early, but that's kind of important. And he walks in there. And again, like Jay just said, he strong arms the guy, even though he had the money to pay to begin with, to get baked beans and some other crap that he needs on this list, which I wish I could have read that whole list. I would have liked to see what the second item was. Probably condoms. And then a douche, tampons, you know how that works.
You got to do.
Well,
he wants some scratch-offs.
Pack a Lucky Strike.
This is on our shopping list.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely the scratch-off and maybe the douche. You are a difficult man to find, John Carter. But not you, Bryan Cranston, who's decked out in another obvious wig around the 12-minute mark that makes him look like he's appearing in a Six Flags Wild West stunt show.
No, that was Kenneth Branagh's wig and goatee set from Wild Wild West.
I was thinking like Woody Harrelson in The Hunger Games.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
yeah.
Nice shot. Wow, everybody's got mileage on that one. He looked terrible. He plays the colonel of this. Anyway, he ends up capturing John Pubic Face Carter and brings him back into the Calvary thing. And they're out in Utah, I think, at this point. Having to deal with the Redskins. We'll talk about that in a moment, but obviously they're having an issue. And anyway, Bryan Cranston looks completely ridiculous. And he actually moves his hair. He tries to move it around to get it out of his face. It's not moving. Wigs are a tough thing to do. Yeah, exactly.
Why make him blonde? Like, why?
What was the choice? Why did he use his regular hair? I'm guessing he was filming Breaking Bad during this time?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, that's why then. All right. So why can't he just be bald? Why can't he be bald? Were there no bald Calvary people in it? Jay, is there any bald? Was bald a favorable way to go in the 1800s?
Think about that there were no electric razors. Everything you did was straight edge. It was probably not easy if you had fertile hair glands. It probably was not easy to keep baldness. So I would think he would be, pretty hairy at that point.
Okay, so there you go. There's the author and historian on the show. That's why
they could have looked better. And
yes, they could have. But again,
he must have been out looking for blue gold at that point.
Guys, you got to remember, I'm going to remind us as we go, this is a $250 million budget. 250 million, guys. None of it went to the hair and makeup department, apparently.
Again, like $35.
$38.
They went to like the party store for their after Halloween sale and just raided the wig bin.
They must have, because again, this is all stuff that should have been taken care of that distracts you from the narrative when you know, and it's really obvious, Ghost. We're making jokes, but yes, if you watch it, trust me, it's really that bad. We're not that far off the mark. Son, we are up to our chin straps and Apaches. Don't worry about that, Brian. They're going to be mostly wiped out and running casinos in no time. Ew. Damn. All right. So we don't want to do any. Well, there's a lot of Indian joke. I got a lot of Indian. Well, not
I
that
just
much.
gotta say, I would not joke about the Apaches. They
really?
The most badass fighters on the frontier.
Well, there's none left, Jay. I don't think I'm in trouble here. I don't think there's anybody going to be showing up.
They've been through enough, dude.
Come
on, they weren't a joke. They were legit fighters. And that was
I see what you're saying. Right.
Rice Burroughs based his Red Men of Mars on.
Hey, I gave you a bucket. Who can blame John Carter for pissing all over this turd? Literally. So anyway, they throw him in a jail.
Oh my God.
He would. Yeah, I got it.
I was actually surprised. I did too, and I was like, "Hey, Disney, getting a little edgy."
Oh, yeah, just barely a little. But anyway,
I really related to him when he jumped out the window. That was kind of my feeling.
You like that one
at that point?
Yeah, that's what Jay was thinking. They throw him in a jail because they want him to go back and fight for their army, and he refuses to do that because he lost his wife and daughter. He doesn't fight for no man. He wants to fight a cave full of gold, which is what he's looking for, which is coming up, which is going to be a major plot point shortly. So he's being a real pain in the ass. He's pissing all over the place. But again, that's par for the course. Barsoom! Would have been cooler if that Marvel Watcher guy had said Barroom instead, and Carter teleported into an episode of Bar Rescue. Hey, come on, that was good.
I love that show.
There you go. John Taffer rocks. And he's in the film. John Taffer does show up in a little bit. We'll talk about him. Welcome to Mars around the 20-minute mark, folks, which essentially looks just like Utah, but with gold jizz all over the ground. Well done, Andrew. So let me explain what happens. They get attacked in a long roundabout way. They get attacked by Apaches, and that we've been talking about. And
also, John Carter's thing is he's not going to be beholden to anybody. He doesn't like any side. Blah,
so
blah, blah.
Right. So he he manages to get a hold of Bryan Cranston and his wig, and they escape across the desert and he reaches this really small cave to hold him off. The Apaches, of course, see the cave and realize it's a no-no place and take off. And they go and explore the cave, and inside the cave, John Carter sees all these markings and stuff that are not Apache related, they're alien related. And again, one of these watchers shows up for I guess he just popped in to check on shit and got surprised that John Carter was there. There's a fight that ensues. John Carter grabs his medallion, and on that medallion is it's a teleportation medallion that throws him from Earth to Mars, ancient Mars, right? They're long dead by Earth time, right, Jay?
That's the idea, but I had to read descriptions to learn that. And I don't remember that from the book, but I could be wrong. But yes, apparently it's Mars in the distant past.
And past, that was a distant past. Okay, so he gets blasted to the past on Mars when there was life still on Mars. Woo.
This would have been good to somehow tell us, by the way.
Yeah, well, right? Some exposition would have helped.
There's no indication. I just read that when I was reading about the film.
What the? We're asking ourselves the same question as Carter leaps across the desert like he's appearing in a Mars version of Mary Poppins. And yes, it looks as goofy as it sounds. A lot of wire work, folks. When your superpower on an alien world is that you can jump really far, your superpower kind of sucks.
I disagree.
What? Oh, come on.
Awesome power.
Yeah, guys.
The concept was really
it's
fun
such a,
that he could
it's a
leap
lame,
all over the place.
No, yeah, but it looks...
The gravity on Mars is different.
Yeah, I know. The reason why.
His bone density was different,
right.
So it's not as clear. But in the books, it's very clear that he has super strength.
Oh, see, now they should have made that, but it's wire work initially until CGI takes over, and it looks really fucking goofy. I think it was kind of a dumb kind of power, but all right.
It's like extreme parkour or something.
Yeah, parkour. Yeah, Mars parkour.
Ooh, it never parkour.
Yeah, Jay with the win. It just never looks as cool as it could have been. It's never wondrous. It's never awesome, right?
Like a dingus.
Yeah, he really is a dingus.
It
never hits that amazing
fighter.
cool. Right, it never hits that cool moment that you see even in Marvel films. It never hits that cool power moment.
This movie was supposed to have been made in 1931.
Jesus Christ.
I think I did read about that.
It would have beaten Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by about 6 or 7 years as the first animated feature.
That would have been incredible. And probably a better film, more coherent.
Or
film,
bad. It may have been as bad as this film.
It probably would have been beautiful. It would have been done with watercolor animation.
Oh yeah, you would have
really pretty.
That would lend itself to the type of environment.
That'd be an interesting idea. There's an alternate universe out there somewhere where this was made instead of Snow White.
So anyway, he gets to Barsoom and he's leaping around and he gets found by the Tharks. They're a bunch of green four-armed aliens, really tall, skinny motherfuckers. Leave nothing for the white apes. Well, I'm gonna skip over the cheap racial joke here because I'm still getting over the fact that I have to read subtitles for a bunch of CGI multi-armed green aliens who are essentially the American Indians of this turd. I wonder how. Get it? You say, I need more firewater in their language. Oh, man. I was not in a good mood, but no, come on. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. That was, all right, so at least, all right, so I got some guffaws and some objection. I think 50-50 on that one. All right.
I just think they've been through enough.
But
there's this
whole film.
They already all look exactly the same. What can we do to them?
Griffin, there's nothing I can say that's going to take away from this film that was made and released, okay? No American Indian saw it, so don't worry about it. Barsoom, a world on the brink of running out of bronze tan or Snooky Mars. Lynn Collins appears on screen around the 27-minute mark, looking like she just got off the set of an old Christina Aguilera video.
Oh,
she looks terrible in this film. She's an actress who's done spotty work here and there over the years, and she looks just in her natural state great. But they stuck her in these awful blue contacts and this bronze tanner that is so thick on her. You can't take. Go ahead. Somebody
in the books.
They are red, right?
The humanoids of Mars are supposed to be red skin.
Right. It's hard to get right on screen, Jay. That's the problem. Yes, I understand the mythology. Yeah. Yes, they're supposed to be
and
red.
Apparently, henna tattoos are really in on helium.
Exactly. They're compromised. Like a lot of self-tanner and henna tattoos are like their version of red.
The design just looks like cultural appropriation, but I don't know who to be upset about. I don't know who we're appropriating.
I feel like they were trying to get somewhere between a red-skinned human and something we could relate to, and just really failed to do both.
They should have just cast some kind of beautiful woman who is mixed or, I don't know, not white. Because this is upsetting.
Yeah, but in 2012...
Lynn Collins, by the way, beautiful woman, not her fault.
I'm sorry, Deja, I'm sorry, that's her name. The presentation will have to wait, because I'm the Barsoom version of John Taffer. I gotta kick some Barsoom ass. That's Karen Hines who played... He is the head of the whole red portion of the Barsoom people.
So
the
he's
helium.
Basically Mars Caesar.
He's Mars Caesar, and Lynn Collins is his daughter. The eastern border is a wasteland, shown to us in a series of CGI war-filled scenes that hold very little context for the audience. We get a flashback there. We have no idea what's going on. Then she says this insane line, the ninth ray, unlimited power, or the flashing blue light special from Kmart. Lynn Collins she's essentially the Denise Richards of this turd.
She's Christmas Jones.
She is great. Oh my God.
What happened to rays 1 through 8?
A woman is a scientist? This is definitely a science fantasy film. Hey-o!
But she's like a porn star
scientist
warrior. Like, what the fuck's happening?
She looks like a...
If she's gonna be a scientist, make her a nerd.
Right,
you
know?
I'm sorry, but it looks like she stole Paris Hilton's wardrobe from like 2000.
Ow! Yeah. There's a outfit she wears later on, which is really horrific. We'll get to that. So basically what happens is the villain of the piece, the Watcher's guy, give a special power to, what's his name, Dominic West, to lay waste to his armies and take over parts of...
Yeah, it looks like it was a Pinterest fail sponsored by Michael.
It is that, yeah. So anyway, it's this blue light called the ninth ray, and they lose it. Dominic West uses it to decimate cities and level wastelands and that kind of shit. Miss Collins here, Deja, actually manages to recreate the ninth ray in a mechanical fashion because she's a scientist, and of course her thing backfires because there's a spy there, short circuits the equipment, so she looks like a fucking lunatic. The only way they could save the city if she marries Dominic West. This happens all the time in these fucking movies. They have to have this marriage to save, and of course there's gonna be a hero to come in and you can pretty much guess how it's gonna end, but that's where we're at right now. Is it a baby white ape? That's Martianist. They capture Mr. John Carter and take him back to their Thark hangout, which is this, I don't know, it's a desert city type of shit where there's a shitload of them. And that's when he says, "Is this a baby?" Somebody says, "Is this a baby white ape?" Because they don't know who the hell he is or what the fuck he is. Because Thark has seen him Tarkus. Jesus, all these fucking this pronunciation has seen him jump really far.
Well, and also they call him Virginia.
Yeah, because that's where he's from. Yeah, I know that comes away. Show them, Virginia, jump. He already danced like a monkey a moment ago trying to retrieve that teleport medallion. Man, the guy's kind of a pain in the ass. The problem with John Carter, he's kind of unlikable for like 3/4 of the running time. You never really kind of get behind him because he's a dick. He just doesn't want to, he just wants to do his own fucking thing. He doesn't want to help anybody or do anything that's out of his, wheelhouse. And as a result of that, it's just, he's just grating. So he's causing problems at every turn and and bucking the horse every time he gets a chance. And so he tries to make a break to get his medallion so he can get home. And he jumps, but nobody sees that. And then when, of course, Willem Dafoe says, "We'll jump for the audience," he won't do it. But they just saw him jump. I don't know if you missed that.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, that made no sense.
Did he want to go back to Earth, and why? It sounded like there was really no reason
for the first hour and 45 minutes, he wanted to go back for the spider cave of gold to get rich.
Yeah, but why would you want to go back when you're on this alien world with the with all these possibilities and hot bronze chicks? Would you ever want to go back to some shithole in Virginia or Utah?
Because he was going to be rich.
Okay, sorry.
But he'd be rich. Like
you could be rich on Barsoom, Jay. I don't know. All right. Why do the aliens just shave Carter's beard around the 38-minute mark and not his entire head as well? It's not a supercuts. I don't understand why they just stopped shaving his beard. Granted, that had to go because it was the pubic hair, but why didn't they shave his head? Anybody not get that scene when they were cleaning him up? Yeah, see, nobody's.
It did seem rather selective. They don't know anything about human fashion, so
right?
No, they
like human body hair.
Right, so they just would have shaved it. They would have had a bald. They're
all
bald.
Not aim a little lower.
Hey.
You don't know what it is, to be fair.
Easy, nice monster. ... Dog. No Disney film will be complete without a lovable CGI character that will easily translate into millions of dollars in toy sales, or in the case of this turd, $50. 39-minute mark. Personally, I would have rather watched over 2 hours of that alien dog than anything else in this film.
Yeah,
he was cute.
It's like, okay, if they kill the dog, I'm gonna be pissed.
I was on board with the dog. Like the alien dog was okay. Like that comes from the Pixar end of it, from Stanton, because
although its nose did look like a woman's genitals.
In the books, they describe that creature as being as fearsome and undomesticated as a lion on Earth.
Really? Oh, so it's a completely different look.
He couldn't walk around with it. Like when he would travel around, he had to tell it to go away for a while because it was like walking into a town with a lion behind you.
How did this happen? Who is to blame? I'll bet everyone pointed to Andrew Stanton when the Disney executives were screaming that on the set.
Oh, yeah, I know. Who's to blame?
Yeah. I don't know who the hell that was.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the alien with burn marks all over her gives...
Sola.
The burn mark.
Yeah,
that's...
Sola. voiced by Samantha Morton, gives John Carter some basically Mars LSD that makes him suddenly understand and speak Martian.
Right, so now he can speak Martian like the rest. Because we didn't want kids to have to read the entire film because
right.
we should.
And in the book, he learned it the hard way.
Oh, did he really? He actually had to learn Martian?
He legitimately learned their language over time in the book, which does not translate well to a movie, so that's something.
Okay, well, all right, so you have to do that magical, drinking potion thing. That makes sense. Let the red man kill red man until Tharks remain, I'm sorry. Or white people if you're on Earth. Okay,
well, basically,
yeah, think about that.
They're gambling on aerial warfare.
Yeah. Maybe, so basically they capture Mr. Carter, and they don't know what to do with him yet. But before that can happen, there's an aerial battle that happens between the blue robe people and the red robe people. The red robe people are the bad guys, and that's Dominic West. And there's blue robe people, which are from Helium. Oh, Jesus Christ. That have Lynn Collins is from the bronze tan chick, and they're kind of the good guys. So they're fighting because the red guy wants to take over everything. So the battle turns up right outside the Thark's homestead. Crib, I should say. Maybe I had to get behind you. Hey-oh! This lame meet cute around the 45-minute mark, brought to you by Andrew Stanton. I like that one. So basically, he ends up having this meet cute with Lynn Collins, who's tanned up, like Christina Aguilera in that Dirty video. They have no chemistry at all. I hate to tell you, none,
so
zero.
bad.
It's terrible chemistry.
I think they were going for was the like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Oh no, I like you.
Yeah,
and instead they got like a, you're fine, I hate you, I like you, you're fine,
Right.
it's fine.
That's
Okay,
a-
sure,
Yeah.
So it's a very Han Solo Leia type relationship that they're going for,
I
and
think
But
that's
not
what they were
good.
going for,
No.
but they didn't commit to it.
no.
They should have upped the ante and made them like really hate each other.
I don't know. It kept bothering me that she had her own little fighting style with the sword constantly resting on her elbow. Is there any fighting sword style that does that?
No,
Because that
you don't.
Seems like a good way to lose your arm.
No, take him alive. Because if you didn't, the film would have been over by now. And then I wrote,
Hooray!
Then I wrote Lasai. You're not that lucky. Hang in there. I am Deja Torres, Regent of the Royal Helium Academy of Science, or a belly dancer on Punjabs on the weekend. Heyo.
Oh boy.
Belly dancer. All right, because she did look like a cheap belly dancer. Just again with the henna tattoos, which are really obvious, and the bronze tanner. I wonder how long it took her to get into hair and makeup every day. And I'm gonna take a guess at that. I would say at least 3 hours.
I was
To
going
do
to
all
say
that.
6.
45 minutes.
Now here's my question. That's funny. That's in Polton's world. So here's the question: do they do the bronze tanner first, and then, or the bronze makeup first, and then the henna tattoos, or is it the other way around?
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
the
whatever.
bronze makeup first.
They got some jargons, deep medium, and not that light medium. They got the deep medium.
No, it's the deep
and they
medium.
sprayed that bitch down.
Oh yeah, she's looking like the chick from Goldfinger. Christ. Mars. I'm on Mars? No shit, dummy. Did the red desert superhero jumping and green aliens not give it away already? I haven't seen a protagonist this clueless since every Kevin James film ever. Jay, was he this clueless in a novel? Or no?
No, I think he pretty well rolled with it in the novel. He accepted pretty quick that he was on another planet, so this was very much the movie.
I can take you to the gates, to the answers you seek, but not before some awkward interspecies sexual chemistry around the 56-minute mark. The film is starting to resemble an old Steve Reeves Hercules films. So basically, they go into the Thark's temple, and they find some writing on the wall. Lynn Collins says will lead him to a cave. To the gates that will so he can get home. He just wants to go home. The guy's been bitching for the entire time about getting back to a stupid cave of gold on Earth, which I don't understand when you have all this amazing shit around you that you'd want to go, but okay. So she...
Oh, and she doesn't believe that he's like...
No, he doesn't believe he's from Jasum. I know Earth. I know. Yeah, she doesn't believe his...
And another thing, why did all the planets have different names, but she still called it the sun?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right, that's
okay, sun.
It's a great technical, though.
No,
right, no, you can't do...
Yeah, why don't they call it Soom?
The term planets comes from the Greek, but they used that term as well.
Oh, do
Planet
they?
means wanderer in the Greek, but they still use
that.
that term. I don't know.
It's a quick 3-day ride where our lead characters will have ample time to fall in love. 59-minute mark. So basically, she agrees to take him to the gates of Issus so he can get home, which turns out to be complete, kind of bullshit. We'll talk about that as they go under false pretenses. So it's him and the belly dancer, and then that funny dog, and then of course there's another Zola. There's an exiled Thark that is actually Tarkus' daughter. Jesus Christ.
Even though she doesn't know it.
She doesn't know yet.
That is such an important plot in the book.
Oh, really? But
they don't
in the
get
novel...
into it in the movie. But all of the Tharks are born as hatchlings. They don't know their parents, and they're not made of love. But she was made of love with Tarkus and his mate.
Yeah, see, now that's a more interesting film. I would have loved to have seen 2 hours of that instead of all this other garbage we have to watch.
Well,
that's
and you're wasting Samantha Morton on.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, she is complete. Well, so is Willem Dafoe and a bunch of these. In fact, Thomas Hayden Church, who plays the evil Thark with the one horn. Yeah, he's wasted. Yeah, Sandman from Spider-Man 3 is completely wasted her. To truly demoralize a nation requires a public spectacle on the grandest scale, just like this film. Hey-o! Yeah.
True.
I cannot marry him. Collins' character in this turd is constantly bitching like her tanning bed broke, and there's no one around to fix it. She complains a lot, and her act gets old real quick. The only reason I forgave her is because she actually, she's an attractive woman, and she looks good in that shitty bronze tanner.
If you ever need honors forgiveness, just be insanely hot.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Thank you, Jay, for the assist on that one. It does. Princess of Mars. Well, there's your pulp novel title check around the hour and 3 minute mark. Anyone still awake? Jay, there you go. You got the title of one of the books. It was the title of this book that they adapted, right?
The first one. I think they took elements from the other ones, but basically the first one, yes.
All right. I've never seen this type of structure before. Oh, we have. It's called a funnel cake around the hour and 9 minute mark. So they float out to find this Gates of Ices, which looks like a big inverted funnel cake. I don't know where that was filmed, but there's a water thing, a canal. They go through these big canyons, like Lord of the Rings style thing. And then they get to this big funnel cake structure, which is like lattice work. It's like walking on lattice work. And apparently this is the alien technology from the Tharns, not the Tharks. Again, completely different species. The Watchers we talked about earlier with Mark Strong. This entire structure runs on ninth-rate isolates. This line sounds something like Sarah Polton would be screaming after a few tequila shots. What the hell is Snooky Mars talking about?
She's supposed to be like a giant server, I guess.
We'll go with that. And she plugs in to the, to like you said, the server, and it shows the bunch of planets. And she's talking some weird bullshit, drunk bullshit. But anyway, it ties in. That's where they start disseminating the 9 planets from the sun and where Jasum is, which is Earth. And he finally figures out he's on Mars. Which is Barsum. Jesus Christ. Just keep with us, folks. I'm trying to get you back to your cave of gold. Is that what you want? Well, shit, yeah. Why try to score bronze alien pussy when there's a cave of gold waiting back home? Yeah. He ends up changing his tune later on, but initially...
Well, we also find out that basically John Carter is like the equivalent of a fax being sent from...
Right.
He says telegram, but...
So let me break that down. So actually, yeah, he was teleported to Mars, but not really. His copy of him was teleported. So his actual body, his Earth body, is still on Earth. But a fax copy of him, like Griffin just said, is actually on Mars with the superhuman powers. So basically, if his fax copy dies on Mars, his Earth body will die. Vice versa. And we'll talk about that at the end of the film, is why his body was not destroyed. Big plot hole at the end of it. I seek to find another way. You are the other way. Was anyone else puking at this groan-inducing line of dialogue? Collins acts like she's appearing in a Mexican soap opera.
It's
the hour
really
and 15-minute mark. Yeah, now she's kind of falling for him because she needs him to incite a war in Helium against the bad guys, which is Dominic West and the red-robed people. I don't know what they're...
She's Helena Troy.
Oh, that's right. They're from Zotanga, right? Or Zodanga. That's where they're from, and they want to take over Helium. But she needs him to lead the charge because he has superpowers. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was too late once. I won't be again. Carter officially hulks out around the hour and 17-minute mark over the death of his wife and child and single-handedly takes on the entire Thark army by himself. Then I wrote, sure. Even the climax to Avengers Age of Ultron was more believable. Did anybody buy that shit?
That's where they chose to cut in that flashback.
Yes,
was one of the most baffling choices I've ever seen.
It's a terrible edited sequence. But basically, first of all, he would have been killed. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Tharks, and they would have killed him instantly. But all right, we're going to forgive that. But to intercut that with the Civil War footage of him losing his wife and child, I guess they burned his house down and killed his kid and wife. And it's
like Gladiator.
Jay, was that how it went down in the novel?
No, nothing like that.
Oh, really?
I don't even remember him being in the Civil War.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And really, that was something that bothered me about the novels as I read them, was they gave no explanation for how he got to Mars.
Oh, really?
His life. So it really was bothering me, the whole telepathic traveling by the facts through the bodies. There's not a lot of explanation because I don't think Burroughs really cared.
Really? That's fair.
Yeah, it was more of just like, okay, this is happening. You accept it because it's fantasy.
All right, so they did. At least Stanton will give him credit for trying to explain it. I wish it was done a little bit more smoothly, but all right.
And then I realized ignorance was bliss when I saw the movie.
Yeah, well, so eventually he fights this battle, and of course, then some other people come in to kind of save him and break this shit up, and he's rescued and by the bronze chick. But as a result, Karen Hines, the John Taffer of the piece, the head of Helium, says, look, you got to Lynn Collins, you got to marry Dominic West, and then there's going to be peace, even though the Watchers are kind of moving they're like doing a big chessboard in the background, trying to move pieces around, trying to control civilizations like that, and they have a bigger game plan for everybody, which we'll find out, no spoilers there. With our two cities united, anything is possible. Casinos, strip clubs, tanning salons, anything at all.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does sound like a better film. You are expected to bow in my presence, Captain Carter. I'm a Kardashian, Hour and 23 minutes.
Oh my God,
so,
really is.
Yeah, they go back to Zohanga, or they're in Zohanga now. They're not in Helium. Let's keep it straight, folks. And as a result, a friend of a counterpart to Lynn Collins' character breaks out Mr. John Carter, and then he meets up again with Lynn Collins, who's set to marry Dominic West. Now she's here's my next line. It's a little vulgar for my taste, but not for Andrew Stanton's taste, who okayed this Indian hooker garb Collins was forced to wear in this scene. She looks terrible. I thought the first outfit was bad.
So bad.
The second outfit is even worse.
That's like my third date outfit.
And even though they have, there's more skin exposed, so their solution was to just slap more henna on her. So they covered it in more henna, although she's wearing these stupid ass boots. I think she's wearing boots.
Although, shout out to her boobs. Look at how perky those were, huh?
Oh, yeah, she had a nice bra on there, an underwire bra on there. That was CGI. It was CGI her tits, yeah.
I want some of that.
Okay. Yeah, she was boobed out in that scene. So, unfortunately, she has to go the rest of the movie wearing this stupid fucking outfit. So, guys, if you're into that, this is hour and 23 minute mark. That's your hook in there. My name is Mai Tai Shang, Jesus Christ, and I do not exist. At least not on Barsoom, but on Earth, Mark Strong is no stranger to playing obvious villains. That's the lead villain's name. Mark Strong, if you don't know, he was the villain in Sherlock Holmes. He was the villain in Kick-Ass. If you don't know this guy by now, he's a British actor.
He was a good guy in Kingsman, though.
She and anyone with knowledge of the Ninth Ray will be eliminated. Whew! Way to monologue your evil plot, Watcher. We aren't the cause of the destruction of the world. We simply manage it. No doubt a line that was cut from Trump's inauguration speech. Hey-oh!
Boy. Well, no, you know what? I figured out that what is Mark Strong's race called? I don't know, but they're basically the Russians of humanity, kind of tilting things in their favor, the way they want them to go.
Immortal ain't bulletproof. Neither is jumping around on an alien planet, but who really gives a shit at this point? So basically, he breaks out of his... Mark Strong captures him. He escapes because that cute little dog saves him, and as a result of that, he says immortal ain't bulletproof. And again, I think even though, like I said, he's not superhuman, Mr. John Carter, I think he would have been killed a long time before this film from all the blunt trauma, but okay. Patience truly rewards the just, but not the audience, as we now stop the film cold to deal with an unnecessary rancor pit sequence around the hour and 35 minute mark. Again, so now he escapes from there, and goes, the Tharks capture him? Somebody captures him fucking again, and now he's the Thomas Hayden Church, the guy from Wings, captures them again, and now they're forced into a rancor pit sequence that we didn't really need. I don't understand when the film is this long, why this whole thing could have been skipped. I don't know if that's in the book, Jay, if he had to fight a couple of white apes.
It's a little more complicated in the book. There's an entirely different race of Neanderthal Tharks that grab him, and they put him in the arena, and it's just a whole thing where it's just a whole thing.
Jay's very, very succinct. No, it's a white ape. It's on like Honky Kong. Hey-o! So...
The white apes are a class of species on Barsoom, and they are very feared.
Well, in this film, no, they're just two CGI monkeys. They're not really interesting.
Sure.
But
It was very Geonosis, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Which was itself a ripoff of Gladiator.
Well, which is a self-rip-off. Yeah.
Arena.
But George Lucas got some of that mythology from this kind of source material. Am I correct? Like the John Carter.
Yeah. In fact, there were other directors that didn't want to touch this for years, but because they said, "Nah, Lucas already did it."
Yeah. No, there's a very Star Warsy. There's a lot of Star Warsy stuff here. Unfortunately,
Lucas did it.
Nice reference. So basically, he's thrown into this rancor pit. It's just basically an arena, if you've seen Gladiator, and he's got to fight to the death. Him and the Willem Dafoe character, the one that Miss Polton has no idea who it is. They're in the same pit, and then there's two white apes, two big CGI monkeys, Honky Kong at the end of this. So he ends up killing both of them, which I don't believe that would have went down that way. And there's some bad CGI and bad compositing. Again, the budget started to run out at this point at the end of the film. I claim the right to challenge. The challenge that I can appear in a big budget film that doesn't tank at the box office. He failed. Yeah, he didn't.
I think I zoned out and then came to, and he looked like a Smurf.
Yeah.
No.
I was so confused.
And when I came to, I was thinking they will take our white apes, but they will never take our freedom.
All right.
He looks like he got in a fight with a Tidy Bowl mascot.
Yeah, he's covered in blue blood, which is the white apes are bleed blue. Oh, Jesus Christ! He hadn't
found the princess yet, but somebody blew him.
Ooh, whoa! But hey, Jay Sandlin with the win again. We ride for Zodanga. It's happy hour. Hour and 43-minute mark. Okay, so he manages to rally the entire Thark army to follow him to, I guess, Zodanga, so they can stop the wedding between Dominic West and Lynn Collins before the two cities unite, and then the evil Mark Strong can end the civilization. Not really evil, they're just kind of managing shit. They're at the wedding in helium. Way to go, Carter. You might want to stop inhaling helium and get your Barsoom locations correct. So they end up at the wrong place.
Yeah, this was the less popular red wedding.
Okay. It was. So, yeah, they went to the completely wrong location and only find out they have to go somewhere else. It's a trap. Helium falls. Where the hell is Admiral Akbar when you really needed him? Nobody got that one? It's a trap.
Yeah,
I was thinking that. I knew you were going to say something about that.
Yeah, all right. So it was a cheap, obvious joke. I was getting
a trap.
But I did kind of like how all the other guys kind of looked at John Carter like, you fucking dumb.
Yeah, he was a dumbass. He was like, guys, this is the end of your movie.
I mean, that was like the best acting in the movie, where the CG aliens were just going.
Slaps him in the head. I like when he slaps him in the head. I thought that was actually kind of funny.
Yes.
I wish more of the film was maybe like that, but it's a little freewheeling. But
yeah, actually, that's what I was thinking. Like, they couldn't understand if they wanted to make it funny or not. And if it had been funnier, it would have been a lot better.
Get behind me, sir. While we give Lynn Collins something to do other than stand around waiting to be rescued, like in that Indian hooker outfit. On 48-minute mark. So basically, they get to helium. There's a big battle that takes place between the red robed bad guys and the blue robed good guys. I got to break it down like that. And of course, now we need the Tharks to come in, which are the green skinned alien, four-armed aliens that are going to come in a minute. Will the Princess of Mars ever? So anyway, they win the battle. Let's put it this way: they beat Mark Strong, but you gotta understand the Tharns, the Watchers are eternal, so they only beat him temporarily. We're gonna get to that in a second. But they beat Mark Strong character and they win the war. They break up the marriage. The other Dominic West gets killed. Am I correct?
Yeah, he gets overtaken by some of that ninth ray.
Oh Jesus!
Netting. Yeah, and
funnel cake on his face.
His skull in.
Will a Princess of Mars ever consider marriage to a wayward Virginia Calvary man? Did anyone actually catch this lame romantic line from Carter the first time around, or was everyone throwing up like me?
Unfortunately, I was able to do both.
They have no chemistry together, and there's one scene where they do kiss, and it's kind of gross, guys. It's kind of like brother-sister kissing.
You're still having flashbacks about your dead wife. You're not ready.
Oh, God. And he proposes with his own dead wife's ring? Get out of here. No way.
That's fucking gross.
I didn't even catch that. I think I was reading comic books at this point.
Jay was that her ring and his ring.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, how big is this lady's hands that he can just put her ring on?
Well, yeah.
And then he just gets down on one knee.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
slap that ring out of his hand.
Yeah, but when he was getting ready, when he was looking at her, I was like, "No, you better fucking not. You better fucking not." And
he does.
He did. I was like, "No."
I'm gonna slap your ass to Tiffany's back.
Yep, John Carter of Mars sounds much better. Disney, however, didn't think so.
He's standing out on the balcony afterwards, and I'm thinking he's about to do like I've made a huge mistake.
I'm sorry, if I get married to a man and he gets up in the middle of the night after our wedding and he's like, something doesn't feel right, that's not a good sign. Don't tell me that.
Well,
what's going on here, bud?
Okay, hang in there. So anyway, he gets up after they spend their wedding night, and he goes to this balcony. He throws that stupid medallion away, the one he needs, the teleportation medallion.
The teleportation.
Because now he's just going to be John Carter of Mars instead of John Carter of Earth. We get it. Fair enough, Earthman. No, it's your move. I guess I wrote that out of context. Well, at least Carter got to fuck that Mars chick before he's teleported back to his cave of gold on Earth. I guess you really can't have it all, kids. Hour and 56-minute mark on that one.
Does she lay an egg in this movie?
Ew, no, she does. No, we don't even get that far.
In the book, she lays an egg.
That's so gross.
Where it
all
comes
right,
out of.
now, ooh, good point.
Oh, wow.
Ow, ew. So, yeah, he gets laid, and then Mark Strong was disguised as, he's able to shapeshift. He's disguised as another soldier. Anyway, he teleports Mr. Carter back to his original body in the cave of gold on Earth, which apparently, I don't know how much time has passed, but it had been a long time because Bryan Cranston's a skeleton from like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in that cave. John Carter can barely move because his muscles have atrophy, which I don't understand. Why wasn't he dead? Why didn't animals eat his body in that cave? Well, we can ask a logical question.
A cocoon of like protection?
No, because the Bryan Cranston guy was gone. Like he was a skeleton.
I'm saying because he's the one like teleported. Does that mean he gets like a cocoon of protection around him or something?
We're gonna have to. I wish it was explained because normally like coyotes or something would have found his body in there in a stasis in that coma and just ate him, or eat him. Or I don't.
Who knows at this point?
All right, there you go. So anyway, he wakes up and he can barely move and his clothes are all fucking stretched out and shit. Like a fool, I had thrown away my medallion because if you didn't, this movie would have been over already instead of still rolling past its natural endpoint, so you can set up a sequel that thankfully was never made. So now we find out, now he's trapped back on Earth, he's returned to Earth, but he can't get back to Barsoom to be with his old lady, his bronze old lady. So now he spends, well, here we go. So for 10 bitter years I searched, which is nothing compared to the 2 bitter hours we spent watching special effects budget burn up on screen. So yeah, he goes around the globe looking for another medallion to get back to Barsoom. He doesn't find it, but he does. He knows he's being tailed by this stupid Tharn, who's supposed to be all-seeing and all-knowing, but they're too dumb not to know his plan. So he basically fakes a medallion to draw out the Tharn so he can use Edgar Rice Burroughs as bait to kill the said Tharn and get the Tharn's medallion so he can go into an isolated fucking crypt and seal away his body so he can go back to his old lady on Barsoom. Am I correct on all that? I think I got all that right on the first shot. Whew. Is it interesting? No.
And they keep mentioning it can only be opened from the inside. That was really important.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Hello, Ned. We're not sure how to end this turn, so we're going to unload a lame plot twist right before the end credits roll. At the 2 hour and 2 mark, that's just what I explained. That's just what happened. He goes back into the thing. Mr. Edgar Rice Burroughs is the gatekeeper to make sure no more Tharns get in there while he's back on fucking Barsoom fucking around. Griffin on credits? Was there anything after?
No.
What? Not even a set for a sequel?
No.
Not a Marvel
I went
MCU?
all the way through. I wonder if they knew how. I wonder if there was an egg credit sequence and they saw the writing on the wall and took it out.
Guys, this was a PR nightmare. Andrew Stanton went, toe to toe with Disney. They disowned him essentially. He hasn't really done anything since this. I guess he circled back around to Pixar stuff. And then the next asshole to come out of Pixar bombed as well. The guy who did Tomorrowland, Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles and some other stuff, and Iron Giant, he tanked with his live action film. So guys, if you work for Pixar, just fucking stay with the animated shit. Obviously, you idiots can't handle doing a live action film because now we're 2 out of the gate here and they both sucked. This is very frustrating because these are really talented individual creative people that just can't seem to get their shit together when they have to work with actual real actors and special effects on screen. I don't know, Jay. What do you
say? I thought the Of Mars was kind of the credit sequence suggesting that there was a future here, and they had every hopes that something would happen.
Well, they did.
I don't know if Star Wars changed their mind, if they would have tried again, or if the losses were just enough.
All right, so there you go, folks. That is John Carter of Mars, or not from Mars, or Barsoom, where the hell he's from. We took it out and played with it a lot longer show. Can we flush it, ladies and gentlemen? Can we please flush it?
Flush it with all the empty bottles of self-tanner.
Oh! Consider it flush. That is it for this week. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flushers, Midwest movie mogul Colleen Griffin, sassy cinephile Sarah Poland. Great job as always, ladies. Thank our extended co-flusher, Jay Sandlin, author and historian, who, despite his credits, still had no idea what the fuck was going on with this movie. Jay, thank you so much. We do appreciate your limited insights on trying to disseminate. So there you go. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. And we'll be back next week to torture you guys with something else. Until then, say goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Jay, you gonna say goodbye? What the fuck?
Goodbye. No, I was letting you sing, man.
It'll never be
No, you're right. That was every week.
Hi, this is Nora Crest, and I want to thank you for listening this week and every week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so we attract more listeners and you don't miss a single episode. We love feedback, so email us at signalsoffury@gmail.com with your comments and suggestions for future flushes. Also, be sure to check out our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. I'm Nora Crest, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.